Hi friends, you are now tuned in to the Kid Astronaut Podcast. Turn your speakers up, sit back, and enjoy.
Hey.
Hey.
Alright, I've already checked the mics and everything.
Okay, so I'm good.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we should be all good to go. What's up, Facebook? Make sure you send us questions when people start tuning in. And we're good to go.
Okay.
So I'm gonna stop the stream just halfway through
Okay.
because I do ads and stuff.
Okay, cool.
But I'll let you know before
Okay,
that happens.
sweet.
All right. Welcome everybody to Kid Astronaut Podcast, episode 11. My guest today is the amazing Lizzy Brodie, who does a little bit of everything. So you are a event and marketing consultant.
Yes.
You've worked with tons of brands and artists here in Denver. I think you specifically focus on hip hop music, but is there anything else that I missed that you want to talk about?
Well, for the past year and a half, I've put a big focus on my Hustlers brunches.
Yes.
kind
Which is
of
thrown here at Rocksteady.
the family.
Yes.
Which kind of has shifted my focus a little differently. Artists and brands, clothing brands or whoever, they're entrepreneurs, but the Hustlers brunch caters to everybody. So it's like a common language amongst hustlers and entrepreneurs. So it's kind of given me a broader platform to bring people in from all different industries, and I really like that. I mean, I love hip hop. I love the culture. I've been a hip hop fan my whole life. Everyone knows. I love it. But it's just something kind of different for me, which I really, really like. You know what I mean? So kind of been shifting my focus a little bit on the brunches and bringing some inspiration to the community.
Were you a part of Rocksteady getting started here? Were you a part of that?
Not really. I mean, I was just a huge supporter,
Okay.
of course. You know what I mean?
Of course. From
this is,
Full Crush and
of
everything.
course. I mean,
Cool.
if you know, you know.
Yeah. What was your decision behind putting the Hustlers brunch here at Rocksteady?
Well, the first couple of brunches I actually did at the Preservery, which is on 30th and Blake by Megafauna. So I just kind of got connected with Whitney and Augie over there, and they're dope. They're a married couple that run it, and I just thought it'd be cool to kind of just do something, different. I'm not sure if Rocksteady was open then or not. I'm not sure.
It's pretty new.
Yeah, but then, just space-wise and
Familiarity.
yes, wise.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wanted to do it here, and so far, I mean, it's been great. It's just such a fun atmosphere here. People are so comfortable. The music is always good. It's just kind of a vibe. It's just a vibe, and you can't really recreate it too many other places. So.
Sure. So did you found the Hustlers brunch?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple other ones out there that I've noticed, but as far as I know, I am the only curator of a continuous Hustlers brunch, and
Yeah.
I plan on locking this shit in and making it mine. So,
Yeah. So you're originally from the East Coast?
I am. I'm originally from New England, so I
No
grew up
shit.
in southern Vermont.
Okay, New England over here.
Yes.
New England, not Old England. What was behind your decision to move to Denver?
I followed my older brothers out here.
Good.
My oldest brother moved out for a job opportunity, and then my other brother moved out after a bad breakup. He was going to UVM in Vermont, and they were. My life was crazy back in the day. I was a hooligan. I went through a lot, and I was making a lot of bad choices. My brothers were begging me to come out here, and then in February 2009, I had an epiphany, and I was like, you know what? It's time to make a move. It's time to, because this isn't the way. I'm not happy. This isn't working for me anymore. And so in May 2009, I packed up my little Subaru wagon and I moved my ass out to Colorado, and I've been here 10 years this year, and it's one of the best decisions I've ever done for myself. So.
Were you doing events and marketing back
Hell
on the East
no.
Coast?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
Wow.
I was going to the city and buying mixtapes and flipping them and selling them out of my trunk.
Okay.
That's the type of shit I was doing. No, I really didn't have much insight into events and things like that. It wasn't until 2010 when I got real tight with Redman and Method Man in like 06 and 07 is when our friendships kind of started to build. And then once I moved out here, I was just hitting every single show. But then it started to become such a thing where I just really started to, they're my friends, so I'm starting to pay attention to little things, to behind the scenes things. And then once people started to realize that I was super tight with them, people started bringing opportunities to me, like, hey, can you get our gear on Method Man? And, oh, we'd love to have an interview with Red. So I'm like, sure. I had really no idea what, like, marketing was, or like really producing media, or being like the middleman between these things, a consultant sort of in a sense. So I just kind of like jumped into it, and then after a while I was like, okay, yeah, I can actually do this, and there was a time actually at Cervantes, I don't remember what year it was, but I had some shit going on. I was bringing in, I was doing some placements or some things, and I remember we were sitting on the couch. And Mep says to me, he's like, I see you, Lizzy. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm all...
Yeah, that gave me chills. I was like, damn.
And so I literally almost started to cry. Like, my homegirl that was with me, I was like... And Red, he's really fun and social, so we were always tight from the jump. But, like, it took a couple years for Mep to kind of, like, open up to me and know that, like, I got you if you're in the city and you need anything and whatever. And so... that like meant a lot to me. I actually wrote that down in my kitchen on a whiteboard, and it's still there because I'm just like, oh, it just meant a lot. I'm like, and I've been pushing my issues since, and now I've done a lot of really cool things and continue to do things that I'm proud of and inspired to do. So, I'm thankful for that moment.
Yeah,
so
totally.
Yeah.
So what was the first thing you got started when you came into the mindset of like doing this consultation? Because you have mallhighmusic.com, but you also have LizzyBrodie.com.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming Lizzy Brodie started more recently.
Yeah, Lizzy Brodie. I launched LizzyBrodie.com in 2014. I just kind of started to, between like 2012 and 2014, I just was networking so much, and I was doing so many things, and I was working with Mile High Music, and working with Welcome to the Dope Game, working with Ink Monster, working with Infatu, working with Idolized Clothing.
Literally the top brands like here in Denver.
Yeah, and I just put myself out there and just really cultivated relationships with people and continue to nurture them, and I'm really thankful for that, and just remain humble and just keep pushing. But between 2012 and 2014 is when I got a shitload of experience, and I was just doing a lot, and I wasn't making a lot of money off the things that I was doing, but I just somehow started to create this brand around myself. Lizzy Brodie is not my government name. It's no. But hey, a lot of people do know that, but a lot of people also don't.
Are you gonna drop what your actual name is on?
Nah, definitely not. It's cool. I mean,
later.
I'm like, it's my brand.
Yeah.
And I think that's really dope, and I'm really proud of, like, if people hear my name or they see me somewhere, like, people are always coming up to me and saying hi to me, and I love that because I'm thankful that I'm approachable, because I will always say hi and talk to anybody. Like, they're like, oh, I seen your sticker or whatever. Like, I'm grateful. Like, all my followers and people that fuck with me, or like whatever it may be, like, I'm so thankful because I'm just a girl from Vermont who loves hip hop and just came up out of like nothing.
That's
know what
kind
I mean?
of a good thing for people to know, like, be approachable and have people be able to talk to you, because I noticed a lot of people trying to create this persona where they're untouchable.
Yeah,
but
I actually,
that.
I was just talking about that. I actually have had a consultation the other day, and this awesome young lady, and she's working in finances. She's a financial consultant, but that was kind of one of the biggest things I pointed out to her is, like, when you're networking, you're building a brand, you're building a business, even as you continue to do so, if you reach certain levels, being approachable and relatable is like two of the most important things. People want to be able to relate and connect to somebody. If they can feel like they fuck with you and you fuck with them, then they'll rock with you forever. And that's kind of like the core to building like a fan base and building customers and people who will like speak well about your name. We spoke on that at the couple Hustlers brunches ago. What your brand is, it's your reputation. So Yeah, so I'm pretty proud of that. It feels good.
I love that.
Thanks.
How do you define being a hustler?
Man, a hustler is just making something happen by any means. You know, like if you have a goal, you're gonna reach that goal. And like a hustler can be, you know, yeah, you can hustle drugs in the streets. You can hustle your mixtapes. You can hustle clothes. You can, like, I work at the aquarium restaurant. I flip tables.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, so everything is a hustle. You know, as long as you have the mindset to get it done by any means and like do what other people aren't willing to do. You know, put yourself out there and you know make something out of nothing.
Yeah. What would you say is the best advice you've ever received in the last couple of years?
Man, the best advice I've ever received.
What's up, David? What's up, Kalina? While you're thinking of that.
What's up? What's up? You know, I'm gonna actually quote Guru, and I just said this the other day, but it's something that a line from one of his songs that has just literally stuck with me for years. But he said, "It's best to sit back and observe with couth. We all must meet our moment of truth." And that line taught me, like, man, like sometimes you gotta sit and sometimes you gotta run. Like, I just felt like it spoke to me so much because it really taught me how to like fall back sometimes and just really observe the situation, the people, you know, because like
You can learn so much.
You can learn a lot from being very quiet, and yeah, and I just think that that's really important, and that specifically taught me a lot because I'll be in a lot of conversations with, you know, I've been in some real ignorant conversations, and I've just gotten real good at being like,
okay,
all right, okay, because my energy is more important. So like I can be offended for myself or be offended for somebody else or be defensive or feel like I need to prove a point, you know, and take it to the utmost, whatever. Or I can just, you know, what people are going to think what they're going to think, and they're going to do what they're going to do. And I mean, if it's important enough, of course, you know, you want to speak on what you need to, you know, stand up for what you need to. But, you know, a lot of times it's just like, all right, cool. Just, you know, you good. You do what you're doing over there. I'm cool. I'm chilling. Thank you.
I like that.
Nice. Noted. I like to say, you know, I treat people accordingly.
Yeah.
I don't have beef with anybody. I have no beef with anyone. I just, you know, you either fit in here with me or you don't, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that line taught me a lot in my life. I've applied it still to this day. So.
The last Hustlers Brunch was called Health is Wealth. And I saw on your page there was a person, Charismatic Kels, who she mentioned something about impressing yourself. That was a quote that you gave out at the last Hustlers Brunch. Can you talk about more of that, because she kind of related it to depression?
Well, I have found, I'm 34. I haven't dealt with like any real bad bouts of depression in a long time, but I think that being self-secure and loving yourself comes with time, it comes with age, you know.
Sure.
But whenever I am in a funk, I challenge myself. I impress myself. I'm like, I just, you know, if I've like, I've also always wanted to go do something, but I wanted to go hiking somewhere, and I'm just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go do it.
Yeah.
You know, or I'm just like, I don't know, like I'll go discover some art or do something like that, or just, you know, hit the gym and just do it, you know? I don't know, like it's just like that, those types of things, impressing myself, challenging myself, it gives me self-confidence. It reminds me that I'm the shit and I can do anything that I want to do, and that, you know, emotions are just that and they don't last. So that was kind of really the basis of that, you know, you pressure yourself, you know what I mean? Start stepping out of your boundaries, like face whatever it is that's, you know, just face that funk, do something different. And, you know, slowly but surely, I think that people will get out of whatever, you know, hardships they're going through, you know, they just start taking care of themselves and start focusing inward more than anything, so.
You've kind of been, I mean, as like an artist, we're all out in front, we're on stage, we're rocking shows. You partied with Meth and Red, who are very well-known people, but I would say Lizzy Brodie, maybe not so much recently, but more as your come up has been kind of behind the scenes.
Yeah.
What are the pros and cons of that, and are you kind of stepping out more into the forefront and making a name as a face?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I've kind of like the pros and cons. I mean, you know, the pros of being behind the scenes is you can keep to yourself a little bit more.
Sure.
I mean, it really depends on what you're doing, because like the behind the scenes can be chaotic. Like you really have to be, you know, if you're running an event, if you're doing like stage production, if you're like trying to do media or whatever the hell it may be, it can be so stressful. You know, there's a lot of moving things going on. But then also, again, when you're in the forefront, I don't know, like sometimes it's can be a little overwhelming, you know, like I find that at times, you know, where it's like Lizzy, or like, I don't know, like it can just be like, whew, tranquilo, give me a sec, you know what I mean? So like, I don't know, I think that there can be pros and cons to everything, you know, it's just really all about balance. But you know, it's funny because I really am kind of shy. Like I don't, like, people are always like, why aren't you doing video interviews? I'm like, man, I'd be so shy. I don't want to just sit in front of a camera and interview someone. I don't know why. It's just been like a challenge of mine. I just have these stupid little things, but they're my thing, and I just deal with it. So I just do other stuff.
LizzyBrodie.com. Put Kid Astronaut in. Yeah.
Okay, let's say we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
So you know, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I you know, just circling back to the Hustlers Brunch, it's just such a different kind of format for me, and I really love it. Just the conversation is just really different. So hosting those and curating those is different. It just feeds my soul, because, you know, when I'm asking these questions and the panel is, you know, answering just gems on gems, just inspiring things, you know, and it's just these people telling their stories, telling what they've learned.
Sure.
You know, when they're successful and they've reached certain levels, and then you see like 50 people just like, you just see them catching it and relating. It just makes me feel like this is something I need to be doing. You know, this makes me feel good as hell. So,
yeah,
you know.
And that's what it's about.
Yeah, that's really what it's about. Absolutely.
Who is Lizzy today?
Man, I am a confident, I'm a confident woman. I'm loving, I'm loyal. I haven't thought about this in a minute, but like, I like to challenge myself. You know, I like to go out, I like to hike, I like to travel. You know, I don't know, like I'm 34 and I feel great. You know, once I hit my 30s, I'm like, man, not like in a cocky way, but you just become so secure in yourself. And I guess, you know, I'm just thankful for who I am today, and thankful for like my journey. And it's just, you know, I'm proud of myself for certain things, and it's okay to say that. You know, like some people feel like, oh,
self-love.
Yeah, but it's like, man, so actually, C. Ray's Walls, if anyone knows C. Ray's Walls, that's one of the homies in hip hop for a long time, and he once told me, it's not selfish, it's self first. And that stuck with me, because I'm like, word, straight up, like we really do have to take care of ourselves first. Like I'm no good to anybody. I'm not even good to my family if I'm not good in my heart, you know what I mean, and taking care of myself. And, you know, so yeah. It's not selfish, it's self-first.
As a segue from that, self-love, you just did a very fire-ass photo shoot with Blake Jackson.
Yes, I did.
Those photos are beautiful.
Thank
you look amazing.
Thank you.
Can you give us some highlights? Because I don't think I've never seen a photo shoot like that for you.
So, yeah, you know, at the beginning of this year, it was one of my goals to shoot with Blake. I mean, Blake is like a good friend of mine. And when he first picked up a camera, you know, he was doing a lot of stuff for me. He was shooting concerts for me. So, like, we actually did one shoot maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. So, like, the quality contrast is like crazy, just because he's just excelled so much in his skills. It's like insane. He's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So anyways, at the top of the year, I was like, man, this is a goal. I gotta do it this year. And finally,
those are some of my favorite photos I've seen, like, ever.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
I think
Thank
you guys killed it.
Thank you so much. I mean, I was just don't know, like it was fun to, I don't know, maybe show like a sexier side, you know, like I'm always like hitting the angles with the selfies and like doing whatever, but like this was different, you know, like I had my hairstylist do my hair, I had a homegirl do my makeup, I had a little Fresh Sam style me, and I just felt like the shit, you know what I mean? And it was just like really, thank you, it was just really fun, you know, and I'm thankful that I have those, because in 30 years I'm gonna look back and be like, oh, I was poppin'. So it's really fun, and I appreciate all the love I'm getting on him, and I'm just so thankful for Blake. He's just amazing, and he made me feel like the most like beautiful creature in the world. Like he is so great. So if you have the opportunity to shoot with Blake Jackson, you gotta do it. It's amazing, and it's worth every penny.
All right, I'm gonna pause right here on our playlist, and now we are back. Cool. You had a quote on one of your pages. I think it was I don't think it was the LizzyBrodie.com page. Maybe one of your Facebook pages about taking criticism and pressure. So how do you personally deal? I wish I wrote that quote down because it was so tight. I'll look at it later.
That's okay.
But yeah, how do you deal with criticism and pressure?
Oh man, it's taken me a while to. Like, I used to take criticism badly. I mean, I would just cry. Like, it was hard. It's been hard to learn how to take criticism and go, okay, now what the fuck am I gonna do about that? You know what I mean? Like, harness it and be better next time and do better next time. You know, like, I've had people like be not happy with working with me. You know, and that's really hard.
Yeah. That's
really hard when you think you're doing a great job and they're not happy with your work. It's like, fuck, you know, it makes you just want to walk away from everything. So it's really hard to kind of take that, but like I've gotten really good at just sitting down and kind of going, okay, you know, what could I have done better? Like, I'm not perfect, and not everybody's work is going to be for everybody, you know what I mean? And that's okay. Like, I can't just say like, hey, come work with me because I'm going to give you the best consulting that like anybody can. No, like that may not be true.
Sure.
You know, it's different for everybody. So, you know, I just kind of try to take a lesson from the criticism, take what I can from it and apply it in a positive way and keep it pushing.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Are you still doing consultations? Are artists still wanting to get in touch with you, or are you mostly focused on projects like the Hustlers Brunch?
I do have people reaching out. I've been taking like a few consultations here and there, but mostly I've been focused on the Hustlers Brunch. So, you know, just doing my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you feel like is next for you then from that?
And
from where you are now?
You know, this month has been really crazy. You know, we've had a crazy full moon. Mercury's still in retrograde. There's a lot of newness, a lot of changing happening. So I don't really know what exactly is next, but I know that you know, I'm on a good path and I'm happy and I'm healthy. So I'm just kind of cruising right now.
Letting it come.
You know?
Yeah,
definitely cruising a little bit right now, so and I'm happy. So.
Yeah. Well, you're doing great things,
Thank
so it's
you.
not like you're like out in the water somewhere.
Struggling.
Yeah. Hip hop head.
Yes.
Where did your love for hip hop begin?
Ooh wee, man. Oh gosh. You know, I have two older brothers, so like I was in like second grade listening to like Snoop Doggy Dogg and NWA and Biggie and Pac and shit, and I was just Bone Thugs. I remember I would play. I used to try to write down the lyrics, so I'd have the cassettes and I would stop, play, and like write down what they're saying so I could learn all the lyrics.
That's really cool.
So I was listening to it for a long time, but it really took until I was maybe like 14, 15. I mean, like Lauryn Hill's Miseducation obviously spoke to me a lot, but like then when I started getting into like Black Star and Gangstar and like I just started to really hear more of like a message. Like certain things just started to hit me different. And so I don't know, like it just changed. It just changed when I started listening to freestyles more. I used to go to the city and get mixtapes and I'd be like just geeked about like the D Block mixtapes and stuff. You know, I'd have like the Diplomat mixtapes and like the old school jams mixtapes and stuff by DJ Robbie Rob, and yeah, I don't know, like it just kind of like developed. Like it was always there, but then it became like, once I became a teenager is when I started to kind of really pay attention a little bit more and appreciate what I was listening to, and start to take lessons from it and hear the stories a little differently and stuff. So I mean, shit, even today, like I'll be listening to stuff and it'll hit me differently. Like Reasonable Doubt is one of my favorite albums, like hands down. Oh man,
I'm trying to get signed to Rock Nation on this.
Man, listen,
that's my
shit.
dream.
So, you know, like even now, I mean, I've been listening to that album for years, and even now, like some of the songs will just, I don't know, I'll just like hear a line differently, and I'll just be like, okay, like I don't know, like I'll be singing these songs my whole life, but then like, I don't know.
Hip hop does that.
I know, and that's what I love about it. It's so great.
It evolves.
It does.
What was your like? Obviously, Nothing in Redman. Like for me, that would just be like, oh shit, I'm hanging out with Nothing Red. But are there any moments that you feel like were top moments as a hip hop fan for you?
Okay, the first time I saw Jay-Z, I almost like passed out. It was at the Pepsi Center. It was it was his Blueprint 3 tour. I had floor seats, and he came up from the stage, and I was like, yeah, it's Homer! I was losing it. And I'll just never forget. Like, it's so nostalgic because I just could not believe. And he was right there. I was like, yo. And I almost met him in LA like a couple summers ago too. It almost happened. And I'm like, it'll happen one day. I'm gonna sip Douce with Hobo one day. Don't even trip. We're just gonna talk about some real shit.
Life,
I know it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But that was really like a big moment. Another moment would definitely be when I met Miss Lauryn Hill. Whew, I was so nervous. And I just, you know, I don't get like too starstruck or anything, but I was like shaking.
She would be the one.
I kept touching my hair, making sure I looked okay. I was telling myself over and over what I was going to say to her. So then when she came out, it just like all came out of my mouth at once. I'm like, you look great. You sound great tonight. I love your boots. You look amazing. Like, they were like, but then she took a picture of me and my friend, and she was so sweet. And I was terrified that she was going to be rude and I was going to hate her or something. Like, I didn't want her to be that person. Like, a lot of people talk so much shit about her, and I'm like, I don't care what y'all say. Like, that is Lauryn Hill. Like, she could do whatever she wants, you know. Like, I'm still going to play Miseducation front to back and, like, all of her unplugged music and everything. So, hello.
Just want to shout out the people that are watching. What's up, Phil, Emma?
What's up?
We got Zany. I haven't seen her forever. So you've obviously worked with people like DNA Picasso. Mm-hmm. He just won the Westward Music Award.
Shout out to
Scotty ATO.
Yes,
you guys did a lot of work together.
Scotty.
You have Smell the Product on your website as well.
Yeah.
So because you've worked with so many artists, both up and coming and established, do you have any advice for artists that are trying to just get started?
Consistency and engagement. Yes. Engagement. Learn your fan base. Who are they? You know, find out where your streams are coming from. Go to those cities. Like, be engaging on your social media. Like, don't be like that cool guy who can't talk to nobody or whatever. Like, if you have people commenting, people reaching out, reach back. You know what I'm saying? Like, inspire people. Like, engage with people, you know. It's just so important, you know what I mean? I hate that bougie shit. It's
I think that's like your biggest message, like be engaging and be approachable.
Absolutely. It's so important. And you know, I say that as a fan too, because you know, I've been around artists who I've been super fans of, and then I meet them and they suck as a person, and it's like, it's so heartbreaking. Like, it's awful. And nobody wants to feel that way. Like, nobody wants to spend their money on you, come see you in shows of, like, you know, your show sucks. So you always want to make sure, like, be engaging at your shows. Like, some of the best shows I've been to have, like, some of the illest crowd involvement ever. And when you look over and everybody around you is on this vibe, you're like, whoa, it's, like, insane, you know, whatever it may be. There was actually this artist back in the day. He was so dope. He was a local artist, and he was literally one of the illest. He was so good. And he had a show one time at I can't think of it, but it was a Mile High Music Show, and he was doing his set, and then he started performing Kanye All Falls Down, and everybody that was attending started singing along with him. And I was like, wow, that is like such a dope way to like get people involved and like get people hyped.
He was a Kanye fan, I'm assuming, like,
yeah, for sure. For sure. He was
Kanye.
lit. It was so dope. I'll never forget that. I was like, that was fucking dope of you to do that. But he felt like he was too good to network, and he would not ever want to show up anywhere. He wouldn't want to talk to anybody. He just felt like his music was going to be good enough, and he didn't have to do anything else. No. You have to be the whole package. Like, people need to be able to relate to you. If your music is good but you suck as a person, people are not going to fuck with you. If you're great as a person but your music sucks, people aren't really going to fuck with you. Like, you have to figure out who you're making music for. You know what I mean? And how can you connect with those people and keep them coming back? You know what I mean? How can they make them say, oh my God, I ran into so-and-so. Like, again, going back to your brand reputation, you know what I mean? Like, how are people speaking about you, you know? Because if I was an artist and I heard, you know, people talking about me and saying my show sucked, I would go right back to the drawing board. I would figure that shit out, or I would just figure out if what I'm doing is a hobby or a passion or what, you know what I mean? Because there's, you know, there is a, you know, a little bit of an oversaturation in hip-hop a little bit, but I understand because it's an amazing thing, and everybody wants, you know, who doesn't want to be a rapper? I mean, I get it. I used to kick freestyles back then. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
No.
Just kidding.
Just kidding. So, you know, I mean, that I would say consistency and engagement, you know what I mean? Like, consistency, just, you know, if you're not constantly dropping music, figure out another way to constantly be doing something and showing your face, you know what I mean? You can't drop something dope and then disappear for a year and then come back and want people to be fucking with you as hard. You know, you gotta figure out, and collect emails. It's one of the smartest things you could do is create email lists. People will pay for your email list. So, you know, keep that in mind, figure out how you can do that. And if you're not following Scotty ATL on Instagram, I would follow him. It's just at Scotty ATL, but he's really good at like sharing his hustles, sharing his story, and he's like the independent grind for real. Like, he's real similar to like Currency and like that kind of grind. So, like, you know, just
do it.
He's a good person to
Pick
follow.
up on the game.
Yeah, pick up on the game because people are dropping gems for you. You know.
Two things before this went by so quickly. This podcast, which is good.
Yes.
Like, good content. Nipsey Hussle.
Nipsey
Means a lot to you.
River
I think
Nip.
almost every day, like, you might be posting something about him.
Got to, man. It's still so unbelievable. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, damn, man, he's not here anymore. That's so crazy. That was real hurtful. You know, it was like a real hurtful to like everybody, to a lot of people. I loved Nipsey. I loved his message. I'd say that he's one of my mentors. You know, I listened to the things that he was saying and, you know, his interviews and his music, and I'm like, man, he's just giving so much game. And you know, he was born in 1985 like me, so like low key that's my cousin and shit. So, you know.
That's what's up. What's next for you?
Now I'm working on the next Hustlers Brunch, of course.
Okay. And those are Sundays?
Those are Sundays. They're quarterly. So, you know, man, they've been doing really good. They sell out. So it's kind of interesting because I'm not used to like not having to push an event like 6 weeks out. You know what I mean? Like the last one I just dropped it like 10 days. The one before I dropped like a week before. I'm just like, so I don't know, it's really great. I'm like really thankful, but I'm just thinking of ways like how can I make it better? You know, what can I
What do you want to add to it?
Oh man, so many things.
Not to like give it away.
No, you're good, but there's like so many things that I want to add to it. Like I just want people to feel valuable, the value in it. I want them to leave with so many things, like not just knowledge and inspiration and motivation, but like I want them to leave with stuff. I'm trying to give out like the illest swag bags, you know, like there's so many things that I want to do, like panels, I mean, it's such a great way for me to implement my network of people. Because I'm like, yeah, knowing people is cool. Well, what are you doing with it? And like, this is like the coolest way for me to do something with the people that I know that are doing big things. So I have just like panels for days, and I'm just like excited. But it's cool because it's like it's got my time. I take my time with it. It's my event. Nobody can tell me shit. So It's cool. It's fun.
Do you see it expanding to other cities eventually?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's definitely a long-term goal is to take it to other cities, LA, Atlanta, Miami, for sure. Maybe even like a Hustlers Brunch tour or something, like who knows, I just manifesting these things and working for them and continuing and being patient with this brand and this following and just, keep doing it. And if it's meant to be, it's going to come together as long as we keep working for it. So
cool. Well, I'll be posting your links
Thank you.
so that people can get in touch with you. And definitely get tickets to the next Hustlers Brunch.
Yes.
I will be there.
Stay tuned.
So yeah, it's very exciting things are happening here, and thank you so much,
Thank
Lizzy,
you
for
for
being on
having
the
me.
podcast. Thank you all on Facebook for watching.
Thank you.
Shout out Owen, and that was it. Have a good one. Peace.